And I'm going to share a couple case study here where we worked with a client on identifying their food triggers. So this is Jennifer, actually one of our previous group coaching clients, where she had IBS-C, significant chronic constipation, and then she also had a lot of bloating, pain, and visceral sensitivity, which is very typical of IBS patients, just a lot of pain and discomfort in their abdominal area. So she went to her GI, and the GI recommended to try the low FODMAP diet. And she actually bought cookbooks from other dietitians and do the low FODMAP diet by herself, and she did it for 1 whole year. And she did not know how to reintroduce food, and she actually didn't have a lot of symptom relief. And we know going low FODMAP can help relieve some of the bloating. But if we don't resolve the constipation, the symptom will persist. It's always going to be there. So when we worked together, we dug into, how she did the low FODMAP diet. What did she do right? What did she do wrong? And how we can help her, guide her to do it properly. And once we did it properly and also worked on using other tools to help improve her gut motility, we were able to bring her symptom down to baseline and then do FODMAP reintroductions as soon as possible, because again, she's been doing low FODMAP for a whole year by herself without success, right? So this is where us as dietitians can be really helpful in assessing whether a patient have done it properly or not, and how to help them correct it and really get them to symptom baseline. And when we reintroduced the FODMAPs, she had actually very high intolerance of GOS and a slight intolerance to fructans. So when we did the beans challenge, that's when she reacted pretty quickly and couldn't even tolerate smaller amounts or smaller portions of the beans. With fructans, she could tolerate small amounts, but not at the higher quantities. So she was a good candidate to trial FODZYME, and that's what we recommended. Just like, let's give it a try anytime you're eating things that may be higher in GOS or fructan, so that it helped her open up her diet and eat more food without fear, because we know a lot of GI patients, they are afraid of eating. If there's any tools that can help them bring the symptom down or give them more confidence to eat more foods, that's what we always welcome. And FODZYME is a really useful tool in that sense. Okay, and let's talk about our next case. All right, so we just talked about an IBS-C case. Now let's talk more of an IBS-D cases, which of course that's when they are really, when people have diarrhea, uncontrolled diarrhea, especially, they're really honing down on their diets and removing a lot of food from their diets by themselves sometimes. Now this is actually Jessica. Jessica had a lot of IBS diarrhea, significant food fear. She worked with a provider that basically put her on multiple protocols, multiple elimination diets in the past, and nothing really worked consistently. When we did our dietary assessment, in cases like this, we know that she would benefit from the low FODMAP diet, but we didn't want her to go through the full low FODMAP diets because she already had a lot of food fear. And this is where we recommended the FODMAP gentle approach. And we looked at her diet and suggested alternative on things that we would like her to switch around so that she doesn't have to go into a very extremely, well, not extremely, but very restrictive diet again, because it wasn't necessary. Now, if she wasn't improving, we might have gone a little bit stricter, but she was improving pretty quickly after we cherry-picked some of the FODMAPs to remove from her diet. And then we did FODMAP reintroduction pretty quickly. And it turns out that she was actually lactose intolerant, and she couldn't tolerate onion at larger quantities, and some of the other fructans as well. And again, she would be someone that is a good candidate to trial FODZYME at the end to see if it can help her improve her symptoms when she's eating things that may be higher in lactose or higher in fructan, because we know fructan is in a lot of things. Lactose is a bit easier to avoid, but then fructan is a bit harder to avoid. So this was another case that we trialed FODZYME to really help her, give her more confidence. And again, for patients who have a lot of food fear to begin with, sometimes you may not want to go through any more elimination with them. And in those cases, you can start trialing FODZYME before recommending them to add more food, because that way it can help give them more confidence to trialing those foods. And unfortunately, in our space, there are a lot of patients just who have a lot of food fear, and any tools that can help them expand is a good tool to trial. And FODZYME, of course, is one that has evidence backing to it, unlike a lot of the other enzymes on the market. So we, as dietitians, we want to be careful what we recommend. Okay, I think that's both of our case studies here.